Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation for this very, very interesting review of a very rare blended Canadian whiskey. I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E. You can find me at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, K.O.E. Nation on Twitch, K.O.E. Nation on TikTok, and I am joined here by my indomitable broadcast partner, the one, the only,
Tony fucking G, the non-coppa-friendly, whiskey-loving son of a bitch. Find me on TikTok, Tony the Rod 2.0. What do we have here tonight?
This one is an interesting one. This is 40 Creek Confederation Oak Reserve Canadian whiskey.
This is Canadian.
Yes.
Through and through. This is actual, factual Canadian.
Yes. I actually got this as a gift for my dad for Father's Day last year. And it's just one of those, he just doesn't get into it all that often. So I figured, let's just give it a quick little review.
Is
and then
there
I'll put
a
it back
story
on the
here? Is there something?
Yes, actually. The reason
I love this bottle. It's slender on the side, but super fat on the front. Actually, this presents really nicely with a beautiful synthetic cork and at only 40 ABV. Okay.
But now, you're asking, what's the special story here?
Yes.
Okay, the reason they call it Confederation Oak Reserve is because the oak trees that they use to age this whiskey are over 150 years old, and they were actually planted during Canada's Confederation.
Wow.
So you know, like, it's just a classic lesson of history. Like, I remember our history teacher in high school said, Confederations never work. They eventually break up and they eventually become federalized. And so that's what happened to Canada. Just like in America, we had the Articles of Confederation before we had the Constitution. Same thing happened to Canada.
But does their whiskey work?
Well, we're about to find out. But so the oak is over 150 years old, and that's what kind of sets this particular whiskey apart.
150-year-old oak.
Trees.
So oak trees used to barrel this.
Yes. And so that's why they call it
pretty impressive.
Confederation Oak Reserve. Now,
that I don't care about the proof at that point. That is just commitment to finish.
Well,
commitment to aging. Wow.
So, like, to me, it's like if you're going to think of something any more fundamentally Canadian.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And again, the bottle is actually really gorgeous. It's different. I like it. It's skinny. It would present very well on regardless of the shelf with other shorter bottles in front of it. Like, you would know that this is there. Mm-hmm. I like that. I really do.
It really stands out. And I just thought, you know, what the hell? My dad's a big fan of Canadian whiskey. He doesn't really get into anything too fancy. Crown Royal's kind of his thing.
So the 40 Creek does represent the ABV, 80 proof. Okay. Lot 1867-1, bottle number 02740. But it presents really, really nicely. It's got some nice etching on the back. I really like the bottle shape on this. Presentation-wise, really impressed. It's a Canadian. It's 80 proof. My expectations are not super, super high, but let's get into it.
Definitely tell it's Canadian. But it's rich. Very rich for a Canadian.
It's rich, especially for only 80
Got
proof.
A little bit of rye. Nice little chunk of corn.
Yeah, so I get the corn for sure, but
I don't think there's wheat in there, but it also almost makes you think there is.
Honestly, I'd almost say oat.
I don't know about all that. I'm doing the Joe Rogan. I don't know about all that. But
no.
I understand.
I work in a mill, and we've got a slide with a big bin that has a slide on the bottom of it. You open the slide, the oats dump out into the grain cart. There's a pungent residual smell that lingers in your nostril, and that specifically, that same feel is, to me, oat.
Well,
I don't know why, but
let's see how it hits the palate.
This, to me, smells much higher proof than 80. Very smooth.
There's the Canadian. It's actually part of Canadian law that all Canadian whiskey must match the flavor and character of Canadian whiskey. I have no idea what that means, but it's in their law books.
It's there.
So you can't call it Canadian whiskey unless
Um,
some bureaucrat somewhere in Canada signs off on it.
I'll
So,
be completely frank. This is not my first drink of the night. I've had several
a
others
couple.
before this, but that hits well above its weight class at 80 proof.
Yeah, for the Canadian.
That's actually pretty goddamn pleasant. This is actually a really good sipping whiskey. At 40 ABV, 80 proof, this sips nicely. It feels stronger. You could sip this for an extended period of time. This would not have to be a one and done dram. You could sip this all night. You would not get absolutely blackout drunk, and you would enjoy yourself. This would be very, very pleasant. This is actually really nice. And this is not a brand I'm familiar with that I guess I've seen it in the wild. I just haven't pinpointed.
I'm getting that clear, sweet, like almost spring water that you get from a lot of Canadian whiskeys.
Yeah.
With like a toffee molasses.
Toffee. That's it. It is. You're right. Toffee.
Like maybe not so
Yes.
much molasses, but yeah, like the toffee in there.
I think toffee, because molasses is thick, and this is not thick, especially at 80 proof. No, this is, toffee, for sure. It's not a...
It's definitely getting some benefit from that old oak.
Agreed. I think that is the key.
Because
here.
the bigger they are, the more porous the
Yeah.
trees, the oak becomes.
That
And so
specifically has to be what is setting this ahead of some of the other Canadians that I've had.
I can't tell you what the age statement is. There was a box that came with it, and it had a bunch more information, but I don't think it contained an age statement at all. But yes,
I'm going to take a quick look, because now I am severely curious, because this is actually a little more complex than I expected this to be.
better
Being
than a lot of Canadian.
Yeah,
like,
honestly, I remember the last one we did. We did a couple of Wisers. We did a 15 and 18 anniversaries. Good, but I would dare to say not this complex. 40 Crick whiskey, 40.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I was going through the Canadian whiskey aisle at Wine, Beer, and Spirits in Lincoln, and Father's Day was coming up, and I wanted to get something for my dad. Something that was neat, and I didn't want to just get him another handle of Crown Royal. Even though, he'd probably appreciate that just as much. I thought, well, this is interesting, and,
Can't really seem to find an age statement.
I don't think they give it.
I'm not seeing it, but this...
There's a little youth here, but I'm guessing around 6.
I was gonna say probably you've probably got a couple of 2 years mixed with some 6 to 8s. Now I don't know. I really actually am surprised. This has got some richness to it. This has got some complexities that I just do not associate with Canadian
It's
whiskey.
like, think of like Caribou Crossing, but take the caramel out and replace it with toffee. It's
well,
almost
that's
there.
so much higher proof. It's almost not fair.
This is ridiculously higher.
This is drinkable. This is drinkable to the point that I would not cocktail this.
Nah, this is special occasion toasts.
Yeah, no. If you are a Canadian whiskey
Canadian
fan,
Boxing Day.
my birthday, or Canada Day, July 1st, folks. There you go. Celebrate not only Canada Day, but Tony fucking G's birthday.
I think that's the more important holiday.
It really is. It really is. This is super fucking nice. I really like this. This is very, very pleasant. This is very, very smooth. Very, very drinkable. Actually, I'm eager to rate this. I really am. This is the first time I'm actually eager to rate a Canadian whiskey. Because with the Wisers, we had some expectations. We tried the bottom of the barrel Wisers. Then we tried the 15. We tried the 18. We put them side by side. Different. This to me speaks volumes of like an American blended whiskey. Has complexities.
Interesting.
Even without the high proof.
Interesting. Well, T, we're going to grade this, for those who don't know, on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So, we're going to grade this as a Canadian whiskey, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit. It's shelving. And for those new to the show, the secret 5th question. So, Tony, on a 5-star scale, what are you going to rate this as a Canadian whiskey?
As a Canadian whiskey, 4.5.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I can't. I cannot. Like, I know that I've had higher quality Crown Royals, but it's still got that.
You've had 2 higher quality Crown Royals.
Yes, precisely.
Crown Royal XR,
And XR.
Waterloo, and La Salle.
But those still taste like Crown Royal. This to me does not taste like Crown Royal. This tastes better than the 80 proof that it presents. This has a great flavor profile for being this low of an ABV. 4.5, easy as a Canadian.
I'm gonna give 4.25. It's damn good stuff, but again, I'm like really like I'm also throwing in Caribou Crossing in my rating.
That's not fair.
Well, it's a Canadian whiskey though,
Barely.
so you have to.
Barely.
It's kind of sort of. It's a Sazerac-y Canadian.
Right, it fell off Niagara Falls. Sure.
Yeah. Yes. So, but I'm gonna give 4.25 because I've also had some of the La Salle Crown Royal XR. It's goddamn amazing.
Sure.
So,
but for only being 80 proof, come on.
Oh, amazing!
That hits way above its weight class.
I mean, but now we move on to whiskey.
All right.
I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off because I'm gonna be harsh here on whiskey.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm gonna give it 3.5 as a whiskey because you don't rocks it, you don't cocktail it, you drink it neat for very special occasions, especially if you happen to be Canadian, just because the aging here. Like, I imagine, like, the idea that the oak is so old, if you're a Canadian, like, that has to be a source of pride.
Sure.
Just so to me, I'm going to give it 3.5 as a whiskey.
Okay, we're going to grade this as a cask age spear, right?
Yes, we're going to get there next.
All right. So, as a whiskey, I'm going to go... The fact that it's only 80 proof, that hurts it a lot. You're doing yourself a disservice at this point by adding that much water. I understand you're trying to extend product. Can't begrudge you for that. But this could definitely be 90, 95. Easily. And my God, you'd be able to charge twice as much. How much did this cost?
Oh, gosh. I think I ended up paying like $55 for this, maybe 60.
55. Okay, so $50 to $60 for this
last year. So,
and honestly, I would probably pay $50 for this, knowing it's Canadian whiskey, because I really enjoy the flavor of this. But the proof. Now, folks,
I think if it was 90 proof, it would be exactly like I said. It would be Caribou Crossing, but with toffee instead of caramel.
Would you give it as a whiskey?
3.5.
Okay, fine. No, I'm going to go 3.75 because as a whiskey, regardless of the price of this, regardless of the proof, this would actually blend very, very nicely. Midwestern high schoolers, turn a blind eye to this next segment. This would cocktail great with any fucking soda you want to put in a goddamn styrofoam cap.
Ouch.
But accurate.
Well,
but that's not the selling point here. The selling point is this is a gorgeous, actual artistic whiskey with a good story behind it. Don't blend this. Don't mix this. Drink it neat in the Glencairn. Don't mix this.
Or Capita Nose glass.
But it would actually make a very good mixer. So that does give it points as a mixer, as a whiskey.
Now, here's the interesting one. Cask aged spirit.
This is tough.
I'm going to go ahead. Cask aging, due to its history, due to its story, due to everything, I'm going to give it 4.5. As cask aged spirit.
That's my thing. I'm blown away.
I mean, how many cask aged spirits can you say could actually be a source of national pride?
That's the thing.
And so for a Canadian, this good.
150-year-old oak tree barrel. This is gorgeous. This is brilliant. Had only you made this 90, 95 proof, or good God, even better, bonded. What the fuck are you doing?
The same bonded laws in Canada.
Don't care. My God, 100 proof. This, yes, this, yes. What a story! What a great whiskey, even at a very subtle 40 ABV. My God, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is sippable. This is drinkable. This is cocktailable. This is very, 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 very nice. I like this a lot. This might be one of my... Is it my favorite? It's not my favorite, but it's fucking close Canadian whiskeys. So cask age, this is fantastic. Even with all the extra water added into it. What'd you say, 4.5?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go 4.25.
Okay.
4.25 because there's no reason to water this product down as much as you have. Please, God, release this with a higher proof. Release it with 90. Release it with 100. I'll buy both because I want to try both.
Will.
I will. This is good. This is really, 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 really good. I like Caribou Crossing because it's a distillery I like. Fuck Crown and Windsor and all that shit. Dude, this is good. What are you doing? Don't dilute this. You've got it. You've got the formula.
Now, I'm not going to tell...
You've got the formula.
I'm not going to tell another man how to run his business, but let me take a moment to tell another man how to run his
business. Yes, exactly.
But,
thank you. Because I was going to.
What I'm thinking here is, you're absolutely right. But you know how they reuse barrels once in a while when you're making whiskey?
Sure.
I think if you were going to use these same casks for a second or a third filling, I think you're absolutely correct. They need to be 90 to 100 proof to really get the last bits of good. Because, I mean, if you're going to this extent to get 150-year-old trees that are part of the Canadian Confederation history, you definitely need to try to squeeze every drop of goodie. So pick the proof up on the refills anyways.
Yeah.
Because this is ascendant stuff.
This is gorgeous.
Now, T, the shelving. I'm going to go ahead and say this is middle shelf because it's really hard. Like, there's only two Canadian whiskeys that'll ever sit on my top shelf, which, Caribou Crossing and Crown Royal XO.
I'll go ahead and say...
Call me a fanboy, I don't care. Wash me in your judgment.
No, screw it. That, for me, that's top shelf Canadian whiskey all day. I love the way this presents. I love the nose, and I love the flavor. And the fact that it's only 80, to me, is a travesty. Because there's so much more there. But yeah, fuck it. No, top as a Canadian. If this was a bourbon, or it's a blended, with this much flavor,
Well, T, now we move on to the secret question.
Price?
For those who don't know, the secret fifth question is, when this bottle runs empty, will I seek another one? I think I paid about $55. I could be very wrong on that, though. It was over a year ago.
I'm going to be looking for this brand, so I don't know what the range is, but now this is on my radar. So if I find this would be hard for me to turn down. I really, really like this. I have not been this impressed by a Canadian whiskey. Maybe ever. Definitely not in a long time.
Yeah, I was about to say, probably not in this year anyways.
No, and I'm going to give this guy a little...
Oh, yeah, he needs a little dram.
Watch yourself.
I was about to
Calm
say,
down.
pace yourself.
Easy. Oh my God, going back in.
Wow. He's a real lush.
I'll finish it. You calm down.
So...
That's actually really, really nice. I do recommend it. Even if you're salty on Canadian whiskey, that's good.
I was about to say, if you were going to have an example of Canadian whiskey, this would be an ascendant example.
Yeah, this is gorgeous.
And also, like, if you're going to have a house guest that happens to be Canadian, you've got, like, an hour's worth of conversation piece right here.
Perfect. Brilliant.
So, yeah, I'm going to have to say, yeah, this is a definite pickup if you have a chance, if you're a big fan of Canadian whiskey, or if you have a family member or friend that's a huge fan of Canadian whiskey.
Really like this, yes. Gorgeous.
Well,
gorgeous.
As
Love
I'm
it.
known to say around here. All that being said, thank you for joining us here for this review of 40 Creek Canadian Whiskey. I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes it a podcast tower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands, and one damn handsome man, if I do say so myself. You can find me at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, K.O.E. Nation on Twitch, K.O.E. Nation on TikTok. I'm signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partner, and I hope every last one of you makes it back here happy, healthy, much the wiser. T, take it away.
I'm just Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe. Catch me on TikTok, Tony the Rod 2.0. This is a fantastic Canadian whiskey. Come on board.
Get back. Tell you what I'll do if I ever get back. I promise to refabricate you, raging rivers of gold. That's what the brochure advertised. And now we're lost, we gotta take it down. Let you down slow, it's hard to survive.
Nice.
El Dorado. Oh, Lord. Well, let's see how that one went.
Yeah. See ya.